Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into Anime Last Stand and bringing you our ultimate unit tier list. I know, with every new update there are like a dozen new towers to check out, and it can be super overwhelming to decide which units to use. That's why we're here to help you cut through the chaos and find the best of the best for your squad. From powerful attackers to sturdy defenders, we're covering it all so you can crush your opponents like never before. Now, with this tier list, we'll be ranking each unit to give you a clear idea of what's worth keeping on your team. Trust me, it's all about finding that perfect balance, and we're here to make it easy. So, grab a snack, get comfy, and let's break down the best units you need in your lineup to stay on top in Anime Last Stand. Whether you're a total newbie or a seasoned pro, we've got tips and insights for everyone. Alright, let's jump in. I'm quickly moving on to the video, and I'm ranking units in Anime Last Stand. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching. The units in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Ichiko Kai, Lenji, Sonic Ninja, Super Robot 12, and Vegata. Alright, let's dive into the D tier units in Anime Last Stand. Spoiler alert, these units, not the best choices for your team. I mean, we're talking about Ichiko Kai, Lenji, Sonic Ninja, Super Robot 12, and Vegata here. They might look cool or have flashy moves, but let's be honest, they're not pulling their weight when it comes to serious gameplay. These characters might be fine for the first couple of hours, but after that, you'll find yourself either auto-selling them or benching them indefinitely. The thing with D-tier units is that they're just there. You might get some use out of them early on, but they become outclassed so fast that you'll be wondering why you even bothered. When it comes to Anime Last Stand, you really want units that can stick around for the long haul, not ones that are ready to be replaced before you even hit mid-game. These D-tier units may have some quirky charms, but they lack the skills, stats, and abilities to keep up with the rest of the roster. So, if you're investing time into your base or grinding for the best lineup, I'd honestly just skip these guys altogether. Sure, every unit has some potential, but when you're constantly feeling underpowered with a D-tier squad, you're really just asking for trouble. Pick from any of the higher tiers, and you'll be far better off. Or, hey, you can stick with D tier, but don't say I didn't warn you if your base goes down in flames. The units in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Chand, Compass Demon, Curse King, Heavenly Chad, Lightning Swordsman, Water King, Wind Pillar, and Zuffy. Alright, so let's talk about C tier units in Anime Last Stand. Now, if you're just starting out in the world of tower defense, chances are your team is going to be filled with rare and epic units. These C tier characters? Not the flashiest or strongest, but they've got their own little quirks that make them useful, especially when you're fresh to the game and haven't unlocked the powerhouse characters yet. Think of them as the trusty tools in the shed. They won't carry you through endgame content, but they'll give you a decent start. Now, the truth is, you're eventually going to want to swap these out for legendaries or even higher tier units. But here's the thing, C tiers can have their moments. Take Compass Demon for example. This little guy might not have the biggest punch, but in certain matchups, he can work his magic. Same goes for Lightning Swordsman, who, despite the name, doesn't exactly bring the thunder, but can still zap away some enemies when you're in a pinch. The key here is knowing when and where to use them, since their potential is pretty niche. So, if you're aiming higher, and let's be real, who isn't? Don't hang around with these units longer than you need to. They're fine as throwaway options when you're desperate, but expect some struggle with their overall output. They don't bring as much versatility or raw damage as the upper tier units, so they're more of a stepping stone than a solution. Plus, it'll make you feel even more satisfied when you finally upgrade to something stronger. Characters like Chand, Curse King, and even the oddly named Heavenly Chad all come with noticeable weaknesses. Maybe it's low strength, maybe it's limited power-ups. Whatever the case, these guys aren't long-term investments. But if you're just getting your feet wet in Anime Last Stand, they're accessible, easy to use, and perfect for learning the ropes. So use them, learn from them, and when you're ready, don't look back. The units in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, 8th Division Captain Baldy Sirius, Burning Hero, Businessman Yojin, Butterfly Breather, Grimjaw, Idol, King Pendragon, Night King, Lord Alien, Ninel, Overtime Sorcerer, Pride Knight, Shark Ninja, Skeleton Knight, String Warlord Awakened, Tenjuro, Unleashed Umbral Prince, Iryu, Vegata Super, Wind Prince Spirit, and Zuffy Time Skip. Alright, now let's dive into the B tier characters of Anime Last Stand. So, these are the units you'll likely come across a lot in your journey. Reliable, dependable, and capable of filling in specific roles without totally stealing the show. B-tier characters are for those players who are looking to solidify their lineup, but maybe aren't quite at the endgame phase yet. They're super useful early on, and hey, even in later levels, they can still bring some good utility to the table if played right. One example we have is businessman Yojin. He's the go-to guy for farming resources, basically the money magnet you didn't know you needed. Sure, he might not be a powerhouse in battle, but when it comes to leveling up and crafting, he's the man to call. If you need a steady resource stream to fund your upgrades, Yojin's got you covered. It's like having an accountant on your team. Who wouldn't want that? Then there's Night King and Lord Alien, two characters who may not single-handedly carry you through battles, but they definitely bring some solid survivability. These guys are like the trusty bodyguards of your lineup, taking the hits, standing strong, and letting your main damage dealers shine. They're just great for when you need someone reliable to stand in front, tank some hits, and make sure your team isn't wiped out in the first wave. Now, if you're looking for a bit of power with a unique flair, Grimjaw and Wind Prince Spirit come to mind. Grimjaw has this relentless, aggressive style, and while he's not top of the line in terms of damage, he does have that cool factor. And Wind Prince? Well, he's like the breezy, dependable spirit of the squad. He's got some decent moves and can be super useful if you play around his strengths. Not the flashiest, but definitely effective in their niche roles. Finally, we can't forget Pride Knight and String Warlord Awakened. They're not just about their moves, but also their ease of accessibility. Pride's got that edginess, making him a fan favorite, and String Warlord, well, his awakened form does bring a bit more power. They're solid, reliable, and perfect for players who want easy-to-get units without sacrificing too much functionality. Overall, these B-tier units might not be game changers, but they're excellent stepping stones to help you get through tougher content until you score those high-tier legends. The units in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Eisen Post Orb, Almighty Ninja Paths, Animated Crow, Asuda Magic Knight, Best Waifu, Burning Hero Devil Sign, Chief Hunter, Crimson Commander, Dark Captain, Division Vice Captain, Explosive Blood, Gas, Geezer, Greed, Green Esper, Hero Hunter, High Class Tanker, Ichiko Hollow Form, Jester, Salamander, Speed Cart, Strongest Sorcerer. Unmasked, Sunwoo Winter, Tada Boogie Woogie, The Last Great Mage, Time King, Vagata Margin, and Wrath Demon Prince. Alright, let's dive into the A tier of Anime Last Stand. This tier is packed with powerhouses that offer exceptional versatility and solid performance in almost any scenario. While they might not pack quite the punch of the S tier units, these A tier characters still shine, often bringing a consistency and ease of use that can make them some of the best choices in the game. A lot of these units feel like they're on the brink of S-tier status, just a few tweaks away from top-tier power. So, if you've got these units in your lineup, you're definitely on the right track. First up, we've got Green Esper, Hero Hunter, and Eisen Post Orb. These three bring a mix of support and offensive capabilities that's hard to beat. Green Esper is just a great all-rounder, a reliable pick when you need steady support. Meanwhile, Hero Hunter is there to deal consistent damage and stay on the field for a while, making him perfect for long battles. And don't sleep on Eisen Post Orb. He's incredibly versatile and, honestly, could probably sneak into S tier with just a bit more power behind his attacks. Together, they form a pretty strong foundation for any team, covering damage, durability, and support in one neat package. Now, let's talk about some unique contenders. Best Waifu, Burning Hero Devil Sign, and Crimson Commander. They're all here to give you that extra edge. Best Waifu might sound like a joke, but don't be fooled. She can hold her own in serious battles, keeping your squad buffed up and ready for action. Burning Hero Devil Sign is all about unleashing fury, and his explosive skills make him a real threat to most foes. And Crimson Commander? Let's just say if you're looking for a balance of offense and defense, she's your pick. She's fierce, and even though she's A tier, there are times when she can outperform some S tier units with just the right setup. Moving along, we've got Ichiko Hollow Form, Jester, and Strongest Sorcerer Unmasked. These guys bring a lot of fun, chaotic energy to the mix. Ichiko Hollow Form is a powerhouse who can shred through weaker enemies and hold her ground against tougher ones. Jester is your wild card, throwing enemies off with unpredictable moves, while Strongest Sorcerer Unmasked is just pure, unfiltered magical might. It's easy to see why people love these characters. They're flashy, they're powerful, and they're just plain fun to play. Don't overlook the defensive stars here, like High Class Tanker and Division Vice Captain. These are the backbone of a lot of teams. High Class Tanker is like a wall for your squad, keeping enemy attacks at bay and taking damage that would otherwise wreck your weaker units. And Division Vice Captain? He's a reliable, well-rounded fighter who can protect your team while dishing out decent damage of his own. Together, they're like the ultimate line of defense, giving you a solid wall to hide behind when the heat is on. Finally, let's give a shout out to the fan favorites Speedcart, Time King, and the Last Great Mage. Speedcart is pure energy, perfect if you want to stay on your toes and keep your opponents guessing. Time King has abilities that make him feel like a real S-tier pick at times. He's almost unfair with his time manipulation. And the Last Great Mage, he's the ultimate spellcaster, reliable in most setups and able to lay down the hurt when it counts. Together, these three add some serious flair and bring tons of power to your team without breaking into S-tier. So there you have it, the A-tier lineup for Anime Last Stand. These units may not be top of the top, but each one brings something awesome to the table. They're versatile, strong, and dependable in most situations, making them excellent additions to your team. If you're looking to build a solid squad without sweating over S-tier units, these A-tiers have got you covered. The units in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, 7th Company Captain Former, Ancient Vampire, Black Swordsman Berserk, Curse King Shadow Fusion, Dark Captain Magic Zone, Division Captain, Dracula, Flame Breather, Fortune Master, Ichiko Moonless Sky, Itadori Enraged, Jester, Killer, Monster Number 8, Okarun Pride, The One, Red Pirate, Shadow Sorcerer Focused, Shadow Tanker, Strongest Sorcerer Unsealed, Surgeon of Death, The True Cursed King, and Ulmiora Segunda. Alright, let's dive into the world of Anime Last Stand's S-tier units, the absolute legends of the game. These characters are crazy powerful, and if you've pulled even one of them, consider yourself blessed by the gacha gods. These are the units that make the difference between just winning and utterly dominating. I mean, you'll know right away when you've got an S-tier on your side. From their mind-blowing damage to their unique abilities, these characters are the real MVPs you want on your team if you're serious about winning. So, let's talk about some of the stars here. Take Pride the One, for example. This guy is a beast and embodies what it means to be S-tier. His sheer power and versatility make him one of the most reliable units in any situation. Think of him as the all-rounder you can rely on in a clutch moment. Then there's Itadori Enraged. You know when he's out there, it's going down. He's basically a walking demolition machine, bringing insane burst damage to the table with every move. And if you're into spooky vibes, Dracula is here, bringing that ancient vampire power straight to your enemies. He's not just for show, he's resilient, strong, and pretty hard to take down, making him perfect for both offense and defense. But that's not all. We've got the Dark Captain Magic Zone, who's all about mixing it up with dark magic and insane combat skill, a total game changer on any battlefield. Oh, and Shadow Sorcerer Focused. He's got this intense focus ability that just amplifies everything he does. He's not for the faint of heart, but if you know how to use him, he can wreck an entire enemy lineup. And can we talk about Flame Breather? This one's all fire, both figuratively and literally. When he's in action, the battlefield turns into his personal playground, with flames flying everywhere. It's no wonder he's ranked as one of the most powerful units out there. And let's not forget about the big brain players like the Fortune Master. This guy has some serious tactical prowess. He doesn't just bring power, he brings strategy, giving you the upper hand in ways you wouldn't expect. Playing with him feels like you've got a cheat code to read your opponent's moves. Then there's Surgeon of Death. One look at him, and you know you're in safe hands. Or maybe your enemies are in serious trouble. He combines precision and deadly force in a way that makes you rethink every move you make on the battlefield. Bottom line, these S-tier characters are the best of the best, the elite squad of Anime Last Stand. They're rare, they're powerful, and they're pretty hard to get, but if you manage to snag one, don't hesitate. Put them to work and watch as they change the entire game. So if you're lucky enough to pull any of these, treat them like the royalty they are, because they'll make every battle feel like a walk in the park. Trust me, you won't regret it. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.